Hello and welcome to yet another session here at the Gosu Academy. Today we are once again doing the best solo queue moves. I think it was a pretty successful session and I think pretty enjoyable last time to both make and I hope be a part of. So I've decided to repeat the success and I just wanted to do it on the maps that we haven't covered. So obviously for the maps we have left, there are 4 maps and one of them is terrain. I definitely have something for train, but I think we'll probably split the time between nuke and train since train is so new and nuke is so rarely played. But for ancient, let's just start as T. Over towards the A side of things, there's really only 2 things you need to know about playing solo here, and that is one of them, this lamp here. If you go like crouch under it, your shadow becomes very small. But if you go over here, it's possible for the A players to see your shadow. So just know if you want to cross this, either go like really close to the lamp or even crouch under it so you never show your shadow. That really makes a big difference. And that also means if you want to peek, try to get close to this wall. You can see your shadow. And then when you peek, like your shadow will be showing in the moment you peek. The issue with this though is that you get a pretty bad angle on this because of the lamp. So the only other option there really is going this side, where then, I mean, you will be visible for a longer time as you're getting close to A main. That's really the only things you gotta know in terms of how to peek this area. And in terms of when to peek this area, it is kind of like how I would say, I think I spent some time talking about it, Mirage Palace. It's kind of the same in that this is a really bad place to go out solo if you're just doing it at the start of the round and there is an A player. So typically you want to get into a forward position and then play it in a way where when your teammates are doing things, if they're getting kills towards B and stuff like that, when people start moving on A, that's the timing you take. So it's really not something where you need a lot of utility or where you need like crazy aim. It's a lot more about understanding when the CTs rotate and timings and stuff like that. So that is playing towards A in a solo manner. There isn't really much more to it, honestly. The only thing, if you would say anything is a move, is like you could learn how to do the smokes from here, and yeah, that would basically be it. So for other solo queue moves, for mid, it happens, well, we'll talk a little bit of theory as well. CTs normally either Molotov close and Molotov far. With these 2 Molotovs, you get it to be basically impossible to peek or take mid. The other option is, you know, CTs do a smoke typically from spawn, and then they will do the Molotov here, and then as T as well, it's difficult to make it out. So if the CTs do a smoke, there's always the option of blitzing the smoke and peeking as solo queue move. If CTs do the double molos, I'll show you something that I think a lot of you know, but maybe haven't used all that much. So if you throw a smoke right around here, what you'll find is when CTs do the deep molo, is that it lands and burns and it sounds good, but because in CS2 you can edge Molotovs, this, let me actually try it here again. So imagine the Molo comes, I'll rethrow the smoke here one time, because I think it's about to fade. So say I smoke like this, now I can edge the Molotov, and I'm not, if I'm out here I'm burning, if I'm here I'm not, and I can actually peek mid. So if you know CTs are always doing double Molotovs mid, doing this smoke, you could probably even get it to land further here so the CTs can't even really see the smoke, perhaps. That will give you a chance to peek. One thing to know about the smoke is, you know, if you know the CTs are doing double molos every round, it's worth it to pre-smoke it so that your smoke is down before the CT Molotovs. That way it's more unexpected. Whereas if the molos land first and then you smoke and then you peek, it's a little more expected. But it's harder to predict. So that's why you will see CTs changing up whether or not they do deep smoke or do double molos. most CTs will do different things. And it's because the double molos is technically the best, but with the edging, it no longer is. For solo move as well, I think if you go in here and you aim, I think it's here, let me check. That seems to work quite well. You can smoke red room, and from here as well, if you just slow walk a Molotov over here, this one lands and burns out all of the jungle area or the cubby. This is, you know, a way to play mid solo. It's not really a move, but anything like this is enough that you can try to take mid, right? Ideally, you even find a lineup so that this flash, it goes over and lands behind this corner. I don't have a set lineup for it, but probably you can find one. And that way you can always peek with it if they are Heaven, or Tetris, or even in the middle of mid. But this utility set, like the smoke and the molo, should allow you to take this space. I've very recently seen that there is a spawn lineup that some professional teams have started throwing, where the smoke goes over and it lands here from spawn, I believe. And the idea of it, I think even it lands further back, actually, like maybe more here. The idea is that it waterfalls just barely into the jungle cubby, and that way when the T's will mullo it, you can actually still stand here, and if you get the smoke to land in the proper way, I think the T's can't see it. Let me see if this works. Sometimes, yeah, so something like this. I feel like there must be a better lineup, but either way, I've seen something along the lines of this. Imagine a smoke where the T's can't see it because the smoke is hidden by the wall. I think that's kind of the idea of it anyway. And then when the Molotov comes, there is like a tiny corner here of smoke where you can, you know, edge or just stay alive. And then the T's think it's clear, and then you can pop out and kill, basically. That's the idea. So that's a CT solo. Well, it's not really a solo move, I guess, but it's a move. If you guys haven't heard about it, it's kind of cool. I think, first of all, let me try to go out. Do any of you guys know how to put streamer mode on for Discord? Because I'm getting a lot of notifications right now.
I think you can just open OBS and automatically does it for you.
Yeah, but I turned it off and now I'm getting... Oh wait, streamer mode here. Enable streamer mode. Okay, fixed. Okay, good. So another solo queue move. It's not really a solo queue move, I guess, but if you go... and I think it's like this. Let me see. Yes, it is. It's not really a solo queue move, because you probably still need a red room smoke. Maybe you can ask someone to drop you a smoke, but this smoke, you could potentially, if you get a smoke dropped, pair this up. Like do, holy shit, that was not on purpose. Like do this, holy moly. Imagine I modeled here and now I bounce this flash, whatever. I go out and I take mid. This is something where with this smoke you actually kind of eliminate the orb angle, and you also eliminate the CT jiggle. If you're not a high level player, if you like to play around donut, this is one of the most OP things you can do. People used to jiggle like this, which I call magisk, because of the player. And then the idea is when you get contact, you drop your smoke and you block it late. So you're keeping your utility until it's time for you to spend it, basically. But even better, people have found out you can actually hit your shoulder on this wall and it will open up like almost a perfect line here. And that makes this kind of jiggle way easier because you can never fail it. What sometimes gets you killed when you do magisk is, like, if you do this and you get a little lazy or you make a mistake, sometimes you can go a little bit unnaturally out. And if you get timed on that, that can be what gets you killed. But with this wall being in the way, you can never go too far out to the right. It's basically like almost pixel perfect getting info here. And that's also why you see a lot of ops. If they go up here, they will like specifically try to peek the tightest line here, because that's where you'll be killing this person if they are jiggling. But still, it's really rare that you die like this. So yeah, what I wanted to show is with this smoke that lands deep, it's again not really a solo queue move, I guess, but it's worth showing as well. This smoke makes it so you don't really have to worry about right side, and if you bounce a Molotov like this, it lands, takes the back, and also takes so they can't peek left side. What's interesting with that is that, you know, you can go in and you can clear close left. If they're standing here as well, you will see the shadow. So for them to be not showing the shadow, they have to be all the way in the corner, and that means, you know, you don't really need to pre-aim perfectly. You can even, you know, clear this first in case they're playing in front of the smoke, and then you can hard clear this because they cannot be on these angles. You will see them. Like, you will see their shadow. And they should ideally know that as well. So, but yeah, I guess that's another kind of mid play. Another sort of solo mid play is just simply when the CT's molo, you just run out, you do this, and as you bounce the smoke, maybe you immediately bounce the flash as well, and you try to run in front of the smoke. If you are playing at a level where people know the instant window smoke, you can ask for this and then do this smoke and a flash. You can try to run fast to donut. It's a very common move to do with like Mech 10, but I guess it's not really a solo move, but I would characterize it as a solo move, or potentially a solo move, if you're playing at an elo where people at least know the red room smoke, basically. Okay, I think B is where things get a little more interesting, because there are definitely some solo moves we can do here on T. A and mid is not that easy. I think we talked about it in the last session as well. In general, playing mid, it's difficult to do solo moves because you almost always need multiple things smoked off for you to play mid. But for B, there's a few things you can do. The sort of, let's call it the Stone Age version, is you smoke here, and you just run, and you do this molo, and you fight cave. And the timing is so whoever is running through here, they can like kind of make it past the molo, but they will always burn, and kind of have to fight you while they are running. So it's a pretty decent duel as T if you have the front spawn. But the even better way, which is like the super meta way to do it in pro teams now, is you want to be running, and as you put your right shoulder up on this door, you see this? It's like a small line here. Like, I look for it in the way that there's like a line here, and there's a line here, and it's always the left one. So as you're coming here, you're just running jump throw. This one goes over, and it burns this middle part, which makes it so, with the timing of it, because you throw it so early, the CT actually has to tag in the molo here, and you will hear if he burns. If he burns, it means he's in front most of the time, or it means he burned and then ran back. But at least you trap him inside this room, and you know, if he burns and you hear it, if you ask for a teammate to run with you cave, you can normally trade this out, right? So just to show you, and also to give you the name, this is the Brolan Molo, and the way you just do it is just like that, and then you run in. Let me do something real quick. I think, yeah, my sound was kind of weird. Okay, so also if you do Brolan Molo, you could potentially, I mean, just underhand a flash like this. So if he like pushes out and tries to fight, then he will potentially get blind. I mean, you could even, as you're running up here, do like a double click flash and go in, right? Whatever you want. I think most of the time it's enough to just do the Molotov and just run in, basically. But this is a cool solo move. I think one of the best solo moves as well is when the CTs, we talked about this in past sessions, but CTs will a lot of the time start by doing like a B Molotov, kind of like this. And as T, you can get behind this Molo and already start kind of peeking. If you do this, then, you know, if you don't see anyone when you're peeking behind the Molo, you can typically instantly walk up and you have a pretty decent timing. So, yeah, I think this is definitely also a solid solo move. I think, you know, even something like doing the Brawler Molotov, turning off this Molo if you need, whatever, and running out to mid, like so kind of ignoring cave if you don't hear anyone burning, running across and trying to fight the CTs in mid, is also something that can work. It's even better if you upgrade it. I don't actually know the exact lineup for the good flashes, but I know there are flashes you can throw where the idea of them is they land here. That way they blind basically all the CTs, like to a certain point, right? But it won't blind you. And even, I guess, if you wanted to, you could maybe actually find a flash lineup. Maybe it's not possible. But where the flash goes far enough that it goes... or it lands here. I mean, you could probably find a flash that lands here, which would actually be even better. Because then the CTs kind of can't dodge it at all. There might be actually a running jump throw lineup from this position. I think there will be. But I think teams mostly just do it up here. So yeah, that's another solo queue move. Honestly, on Ancient, the solo queue moves are pretty straightforward, I think. There aren't that many things you can do completely alone that is very good, I guess. Like, it will be something like taking cave or just peeking up B ramp. Other than this, there isn't that much trickery you can do. I do know of, I don't actually know the lineup, but there is this lurk smoke that some people throw and face it. I think it's a little more to the right, but basically it is so you can't get info like this. You have to jump, and if you jump, you know, you're giving away your position. So what some Ts do, which is really frustrating when you play against this. Does anyone know the lineup for this smoke actually? Anyone who's here? I feel like it's from over here or something, and then I don't think it's this, but it is. Yeah. Anyway, if you get the smoke to land here, what's so cool is that for the B player who wants to get information ramp, there's only really two places you can play. Either you can play jumping like this, and jumping like that is pretty good, but it's very nadeable. So if you see someone who's jump spotting here, you can pretty easily like double nade this. And the only other area you can play with this smoke is right side. So you can play like behind the side, or you can play cubby, or you can play in this space. And what a lot of people will do is they will do the Molotov pillar. That way you can't play pillar. And then for the cubby, they will have someone who is almost the entire round sitting and just spamming this. So if you're playing cubby, you're going to take massive damage. And also what a lot of people do, which is really annoying to play against, is when the smoke comes, they will do the molo. Then they will wait. And when the molo is about to fade, they have like a lineup spam. Then they wait, and when the molo is fading, now they start spamming. So that the CT who's standing here and kind of waiting for the molo, but who wants information, when the molo is fading, they will try to go here, and now they get spammed to death. So this is something where it's not really an aggressive move, but it's something where you can do a ton of pressure by yourself by doing this lurk smoke. And there is definitely ways to play against the lurk smoke. That's why we don't see it like every round in top CS. But most, I would even say, players who are under 3.5k elo won't know how to play against this. Like, when I play against people on Ancient who use this smoke and this molo and this spam and stuff, my B player is always on the ropes. Like, it's crazy. They never know what to do, and I always have to come and help them. So I think we've discussed how to counter it in a previous session, so I won't go that deep into it, but it is really a pain in the ass to play against for the CTs. Yes, I think that's kind of it. I want to talk about some CT solo queue moves. But first I want to ask, any questions? No. Okay.
Actually, I have one.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's the topic of the class? I wasn't here at the beginning.
All good,
Is
man.
it questions or ancient?
We are doing the best solo queue moves. I did the same last session, so last Thursday, except now we're gonna do the maps that we didn't get through. So I'm just talking about if you're a Faceit player and you like playing solo queue, what is the best things you can do? Kind of. Where you don't need a teammate. But yeah, ask as many questions as you need or want. I'm just going through this. I think Ancient is a little bit boring, especially T side. But CT side, I have some cool stuff to show you. So let's just start with the boring again and get to the juicy stuff later. If I want to do an aggressive move on A, I always walk right side, simply because these duels are not that great. They're all headshot duels. Like this, you might catch a T who is walking in if they walk in A main immediately. And if not, you can always jiggle from close. If you don't see anyone, you can start walking through. And you can have big flank really fast. There's another move, which, you know, as A player is kind of cool. If you run a nade here, the nade blows up, you can cross with it. And if you get into this position, you almost always are secured a kill. Like, you can see my shadow, but if I'm standing like this, I don't think you really can. You can even go a little bit more back. Maybe actually shadow does give you away a little bit, but no one's basically ready for this. The reason why this angle is so good is because T's have two ways of clearing A main. One is where they go all the way right side and they peek this, and then they will like go like this basically. Or they will kind of not open themselves up to this angle that much. They will jiggle this, and then they will start going in and clearing like this. And what you can hopefully see happening is that if the guy goes close and he wants to hard clear it, I kill him in the back. And also if the guy is, you know, walking like he is, let's say, jiggling, clearing this, he doesn't see. Now he needs to be ready for this angle, and then he's gonna start clearing like this. And either way, if you get into this position, it's almost always a free kill. The only problem is that there isn't that much stuff happening towards A in Faceit. So a lot of the times it's not even that good to be there because you'll just be standing there. But now you know that is possible. For Donuts, I don't think there really is all that much that you can do. I mean, you can just run out. I think for the most part, I mean, as a mid player, you'll be doing your util. And then what someone like Dunk likes to do is, if the T's sound like they're coming out mid, he will bounce a flash like this and then he goes out and fights with it. That's kind of cool. But I think, again, mid is not the area that has the most solo queue moves in general. Ideally, we get a smoke mid from spawn. And if we do that, we can also, you know, do this. We can jump and make it a cross. Like, imagine there's mid smoke here. And then I can, like, early peek this. I guess this would be the... It would be within the scope of a solo queue move. But typically to do this, you will want a teammate to hold your mid as well. But that should be doable anyway. So for Cave, there is also not that much, I guess. There is the option of... Let me see if I can land a Molotov like this. I can. So... there is the option. It's not really a move. Again, it's not really an aggressive move, but you can do this Molotov, do like nade like this, and then spam. Yeah, I fucked the Molotov a little bit. I think even you can do it like just by hand, right? I think that landed. So, I mean, what a lot of people will actually do is they, you know, they Molotov like this, and then as they run forward, I fail the Molo, they bounce nade off this, and I fail the nade as well. I'm not a Cave player, but you can bounce it so that it bounces like... Let me show you. Bounces like that. It bounces like... Holy shit, this is actually way harder.
To the right part, to the lower
yeah,
part.
is it?
Yeah.
Holy shit. I'm so happy I'm not a Cave player. Holy... Like that, basically. I think it's possible as well to just come and do Molo and then nade in the Molo like this. It's not that big of a difference. But what you can do as well is... if you do like Molotov here... Holy hell. If you do Molotov like this... Like, what am I doing wrong? Is it like that? I'm really happy I'm not
Where
clear.
Molly that is by jumping and fucking left and right click.
Yeah, right.
If you
I
just
was
jump
doing
and
that, but I
click
guess...
it's really easy.
Yeah, I was trying that. I thought it's here. I guess I'm just not close enough. I guess that's what it is. Or something. I think even like this should be fine. Yeah. But anyway, you can do this Molotov and you can get your teammate maybe to nade, or even without nade, you can sit and you can spam this. That way, if T's want to run through the Molotov, or even if they smoke the Molotov and want to run through, they get spammed through. And this can be kind of cool. But yeah, again, it's not really an aggressive solo queue move in that regard. I have seen a lot of CTs as well. When they run into cave, they just run and they bounce a flash like this. The way it works out with the timing is so that when the T comes up and wants to peek this, the flash pops here and the CT is, you know, here. I think you can get it to bounce. Maybe if you aim it a little lower, you can get it to land like more behind you. And then the T will get blind and then the CT has like completely the upper hand. This is kind of a counter to this Brawler Molo, because you as CT, you will be burning. And then that is gonna make sound, and then you do the flash, and you are ready for the T. So that's pretty cool, I think. I think also, you know, there's a whole lot you can do in terms of cave. If you manage to smoke this, you can do a lot of good wallbangs. I don't know the lineups perfectly, because again, I'm not a cave player, but I think if you spam here, you can. I think even maybe you can tighten this, but you can definitely spam like behind this box basically, or at least in this space. It's also possible for you to spam towards the B door, so higher than this, but I guess like this. You can spam towards the B door, so this guy will die if he's like jiggling or holding here with up. And also it's possible to spam. I think you can spam like this, or maybe even like this, and this deals so much damage that you just die here as T, basically. So a lot of spamming you can do as CT. Other than this, I think there isn't that much you can do as cave player. But one thing I think is a little underrated as CT is, instead of doing this Molotov that a lot of CTs are throwing, you can go and Molotov a little deeper. It doesn't have to be much deeper, but if you just do it like this, you can actually, as CT, go behind it immediately and start peeking down ramp. And this is really unexpected. I've had people do it to me in Faceit, and you're just expecting a normal round, but when the CT just Molotov slightly deeper, and then comes and fronts the Molotov like this, like just immediately runs down and just peeks, and then peeks here, it can be really, really nasty. So this is something you could definitely try if you're a ramp player. I also think this move isn't as good, but if you are a B player, let's say you're jumping, you're getting information, whatever, you can actually get a smoke that lands in here in the door. And if it gets like wedged in here, it smokes off the door pretty good. It was better in CSGO. But then I believe if you aim, is it here? No, it's here then. Yeah, so this flash, it's I guess not really a solo queue move, but it's cool. You can do it with a teammate. Like maybe you can ask someone to push. But you basically do the smoke, and as soon as the smoke pops, right after you do this flash, and it's, yeah, for the T's, they get destroyed by this. So that's also pretty cool. It's also not a solo queue move, but if you want, you can go down here with a teammate. You can crouch. Your teammate can jump up on you, and you can check the guy who is sitting behind the door. If they sit like this, like some people like to do, you can actually see half their body, and they can't see you. So you can kill them for free, especially if you have AWP, and it's a really, really cool peek. So, yes, okay. I think we're gonna move on from Ancient. Like, honestly, not the map with the most solo queue moves. Most of it, you need at least some kind of support. Inferno. Wait, we did Inferno last time, so we need Ancient, Dust2, Train, and Nuke. Yeah. So let's go to Dust2. And here there are at least a few more solo queue moves, or at least things that are so simple that anybody can do it. So one of the things that I like to do, especially if I have AWP and a good spawn for long, the best spawn is this one. I like to jump across here, and then in CS2, we talked about it on Ancient as well. You can, edge your edge Molotovs. So what a lot of CTs will do, actually they don't do it that much anymore because of what I'm going to show you, but in CSGO, CTs would always come, they would try to Molotov here and then wait for a flash and then swing out. The problem with this is that Ts have started throwing, this is what I like to do for myself sometimes, I just do it like on feeling, kind of double click. If the smoke lands around here, if the CT's Molotov, either it gets the Molotov completely, or if the Molotov is still burning, I'm able to peek without taking damage. So with AWP, I can hold the corner and I can kill. And personally, I think this smoke, which is like a smoke you can edge with, is majority of the time better than smoking the long corner. The way that CTs have started dealing with this is that they will always basically go here and do this smoke, and then CTs, instead of doing the inside door smoke, or like Molo, they do this Molo, they wait for flash, they wait for door smoke, and then they get flash. That way, if you try to do like the one-way smoke trick where you edge, the CTs just simply don't peek until their smoke lands, and then your smoke is useless. So that's kind of how pro teams have adapted to this. But if you're playing at a not perfect level, for sure this smoke is still gonna work. I do it on double click because I obviously got like pretty good feel for my nades, but you could also just come and underhand it here. Like this will also work, so you can stand in here while the Molotov is probably then failing, right? But yeah, this is a really cool solo queue move in my opinion. I think also when I have front spawn long, I will call this a solo queue move because all you need is flashes long. I feel like anyone can do that. But the best way, in my opinion, to take long is when I'm running here, as I'm going through the door, I like to bounce a flash while running up here. And it will bounce off this, and then land here. And I will jump out, I will dodge it, and then I will peek. I'll show you the movement, and I can tell you, in Faceit, it's crazy, my percentage of winning this duel. It's probably like, it sounds crazy, but I want to say it's like 90% of the time I win that one-on-one duel, because as CT, you don't get perfect flashes in Faceit. As T, you can be getting a lot of flashes from your teammates, and also this one flash sets yourself up really well. So I do it like this, I flash, I jump out, I dodge, and then I peek like this, and I try to kill. He will typically be around here. Sometimes I get blind, but he also does, and majority of the time I get to see him right before I get blind. And when that happens, even if I'm blind, I'm at a level where I can probably kill him. So just to see how it looks for the CT, this is how the flash looks. Like it bounces twice and goes out and lands in the middle, right behind the T as he's coming out. And he's kind of getting flashes over here as well. So it's just impossible for the CT, who a lot of times they will then do this Molotov dodge and then try to fight the T here, but will be blind or dead already. So, and then when there's no corner smoke, it's just really difficult for this CT to peek, because if the first T kills and makes it towards blue, now the CT can be peeked from here as well. So you typically win long, and I think it's one of the best things you can do, basically. So another solo queue move, I guess, would be just something like jumping down suicide, nading here in front. It blows up, they can't really see you, and you can run fast to short, or you can run fast to here. Or if you have AWP, you can start like searching AWP angles here. That's really cool. I think as T as well, you could, I do this sometimes when I have good spawn towards B. I will ask someone from my team to do the door smoke, or maybe not do the door smoke, but at least have them come here and jump in formation for lore. And then with my spawn, I will run. I will try to jump a bit to not make so much noise. And then I will just run and kind of try to make it close to mid, or even walk out mid instantly. So long as my teammate knows no one can be lower, it's a pretty unexpected move, and one that I really like doing. For B, there are a few solo queue moves. I don't know the perfect lurk smoke. Let me see, actually. I remember there used to be a lineup. I think people mostly use a lurk smoke kind of like a little closer than this right now. But there was a time when people would be... Is it like this? No, not even. Was it like this, maybe? Actually, this, I feel like, feels familiar. No. So basically, imagine that I would be having a smoke that lands right at the edge. Not like that. Yeah, I haven't been lurking B for a long time. But basically, there is a lurk smoke lineup. It's not that popular right now, but I mean, teams still use it from time to time. But it basically lands like this. And the idea of it is, as T, you can lurk out left side. And if the CT isn't here, the way the lurk smoke normally lands is you have a gap here, and you can work the left side. Let me try to underhand it in a little bit better way. So imagine a smoke that lands like this. The CTs can't see what you're doing in here. You can lurk out left side, you can clear it, and if no one's here, you can use the smoke to kind of start checking angles here. And also, you can jump up right side of it and kind of play like a headshot angle on the smoke. This is really 2015 vibes, like it's an old smoke now. But T still use it, and I think you can pair it with this. How is it? I think like this Molotov. Let me see. That burns the close left corner and the deep left corner, so you don't need to worry about left side at all. So what a lot of people will do is they will, I line up the rock here and then I aim here. And after Molotoving this, you know no one can be left side. Then you do the smoke. And then before you go out, you spam, like as soon as the smoke pops, you kind of spam the left side. So if the CT is moving to the left side in this moment, you have a chance to kill them. Because a lot of good players will recognize the Molotov cleared out this area and they want to, you know, play in that area afterwards. What I've seen as well, I found a lineup for it just the other day. I think it was something like this, and then standing up. Let's see if this actually lands the way that I want it to. I think it kind of does. So this is a kind of CS2 smoke, where it doesn't do a whole lot for you when you get out. It still eliminates a lot of the side angles, and even maybe the window angle. I think ideally you want the smoke to land a little more to the left. So something like this, where you get some cover, you can clear out here. And then what it allows you to do is it allows you to walk through the smoke and walk into car without getting spotted. So if someone's playing side or plat or outside B, whatever, this smoke kind of is a way where the CT has a difficult time getting information without playing right side. And if they don't play car, then you can go car. So it's also like a lurk smoke, and it's kind of nasty for CTs to play against. But yeah, it's kind of, I guess, what there is on B. Then for mid, also there is the possibility to do a smoke like this, for example, which lands pretty deep on the left side. That gives you space to peek here, and if you don't see anyone here, you know, you could walk through it, go left side and go towards B and split like this. Yeah, it's not so meta anymore. I've seen as well lineups, I think from here where people have a Molotov lineup. Let me see if I can land it. Maybe it isn't even like this. Okay, maybe it is. And the idea of this is you can walk behind it if you land it correctly. So I almost had it, I guess. Maybe it's where these walls meet. Or maybe it needs to be even... It needs to like land in the copy. Yeah, like this. I think this is good. So now I can walk behind the Molo without taking damage. And for the CTs it sounds like I'm just clearing out. So I guess down from the left side of this to here. For the CTs it sounds like I'm Molotoving mid to clear it out. But in fact I'm using the Molotov as a fake Molo to move out mid. I think that's a pretty cool solo queue move. Also, if you manage to get to short, you can go here if you don't know it. Very meta Molo. Aim up here, run. You can jump throw. I failed it. Jump throw when you hit the bottom. this one goes over and it kind of eliminates this AWP angle and also burns any rifle who's standing close. And with this Molotov, like, it's way easier for you to take the space. So, like, on the Molotov, maybe you can even swing. It's difficult to see you. Stuff like that. AWPers might instead play here, but with the Molotov, it's actually really difficult to see you. So, yes. I think that covers the solo queue moves for T-side. I think so. I'll show you a cool smoke though. If you line up the star here and you aim here while standing up, yeah, you get a CT smoke. Don't know why I showed that, but it's kind of cool. Anyway, so solo queue moves for A long. I'm not really sure if I would say there is that many. The closest we can do is like doing Molotov dodging and then running out and trying to get to pit. That's probably the best solo queue move we can talk about basically. For short, especially now with the boxes, it's very possible for you to like do different things. I think one thing that works quite well in the current meta, especially if you're playing at like a decently high level, a lot of people will come here and they will do this smoke, which is the mid smoke. Let's hope I didn't fail it. I didn't. So it smokes off all of mid, and then they also pair this with a Molotov that lands like that, but a T-Molotov, which makes it you can't really push short and you can't get information mid. But as a CT, if you have a good spawn, you can, with good movement as well, jump up here pretty fast. And you can actually, you know, if you run and get here, you can beat the timing of the Molotov and you can start already pushing top mid. And then you will be ahead of the U2. You can start pushing like and peeking in this area. There's also a possibility of you just, a lot of players like to just jump info like this. It's basically impossible for you to die to an AK or an AWP or whatever and lower. And then when you get information, you just nade lower. And there's two different nades you can throw. Either you do it like with a slow walk and then you get it like at the back of lower, or if you think people are going to see you and then walk close, you just sit down and do it and it will land like in the space where they move, like you see them, and now they're gonna move forward and then boom, they get naded here. So that's really cool. Again, not super aggressive move, but it is somewhat of a move. For mid as well, it's definitely been, it's become harder to do moves. I think if you smoke like this, you get a smoke that allows you to go into lower, and it doesn't give the T's any info if you do. So you can do this smoke, you can come here and nade, for example, deal damage to upper, and then you can even just walk back and leave, for example. Very recently as well, I saw a clip of Sun Payers where the T smoked mid. He was kind of like sitting here with AWP. When the T smoked mid, then he did his own smoke forward here, and then he was holding lower. He got a kill with AWP and he got away. So yeah, that's also a move in mid you can do. Another move in mid you can do, which is hard in this current meta, is if the T's are not jump spotting, moving out and getting into this position can be really good, so long as you have someone holding your top mid, or top mid info at least. Like imagine having an AWP here. That way, the players from lower will see the AWP, but can't kill this player. And as they're getting closer, now you're killing them from here. And if they swing out top mid, you can just turn and try to take fights here. Not the easiest fights, but it is possible. And you should at least get the jump on the lower guy. But yeah, it is a little risky. For B as well, I like to go over and do a fake Molotov on B. And what I think is like the key for fake Molotovs in CS is you always want them to sound like how they would sound if they landed for real. So I think we can all agree, if you Molotov here, or if you Molotov here, it will give a different sound for the T's, right? Just checking everyone's still awake.
I would hope so.
Yeah, okay, good. And also, one thing that's worth noting is when you Molotov, like how you normally Molo, it bounces once, twice, and then lands. So it's another thing where if I, Molotov here, if it bounces on different timings, it will sound different. So what I like to do is I like to bounce it like this. And it sounds pretty similar, like this position and this position. And also the timing of the bounces sound pretty similar. And then you push in front of it and you just take timing here. You can do it with AWP, you can do it with rifle. I think it's a really cool solo queue move. You can also do it without Molotov at all, but I prefer doing it with Molotov. And I think that actually kind of covers the solo queue moves that I like to do when I play Face It on Dust2. There are probably, there will always be other solo queue moves, but I guess this would be more like solo queue starters. Like there will definitely be things that I like to do when I'm solo queue, but it will be not things that, like it will be reactions more than moves. And we could probably talk about that someday, but that's way more advanced. So yeah, I think next I'm gonna go to Nuke. Would you prefer to see Train or Nuke for the last map, guys? Because I think we only have time for one. Yeah, Train? I figured, to be honest. I definitely have some cool things to show on Train.
I feel like Train's actually a really good solo queue map.
I would agree. I would say the old Train was horrendous for solo queue. It was pretty fun to play, but I guess my problem with Train has always been that it's actually almost impossible to do any aggressive move without help from teammates. Like, if you're in team aim, you cannot flash for yourself. Like, the best thing you can do is maybe something like this, where it, like, just bounces out and lands in front of you. But you can never do, like, an actually good flash and then go out with it yourself. And the same with alley. You can never flash yourself deep in alley. And also, like, on B and stuff, you can't flash. Like, this doesn't really work. I mean, it kind of does, I guess, but you're gonna miss the timing. Whereas I think a lot of maps you can actually do util for yourself, and I think Train. There's always the problem I had with it, but I do think the change in pop means things are a little different. I'll also show you something on Elite that makes things a little easier for solo queue. So the number one solo queue move that everyone is doing is either going here and doing like the sidewall peek, we call it, where you peek this wall as people are running pop. You can do it with rifle or with AWP. It's super strong. The other thing that people like to do is ask for flashes from teammates, and they run like this, and then they go out here and they just scale right side and just take fights. This is like some of the easiest things you can do. Seriously, it's so damn easy. And it gets done a lot because it can actually be... If the CTs don't know how to play Train, it's actually pretty difficult to stop. Because the CT lineups are not so easy. For Ellie as well, I think there aren't that many good solo queue moves. But one thing I will show you, I mean, obviously you can peek Ellie up on this. That's the one thing. But also, one thing I only realized recently is that with how Ellie is designed now, if people play here, like, let's talk about the positions you can play on Ellie. You can play here, you can play here, you can play, you know, potentially something like this. You can play side, like this. You can play, like, in this area, like holding this angle or holding this angle. And that kind of covers the positions. And what I find is a lot of people struggle to throw a good alley flash, because a lot of people naturally want to blind the people on the right. And so for that reason, they flash on the left, because that's kind of how it used to be. And that's also what makes sense. But this flash only takes this guy and this guy. But like this guy, or this guy, or this guy, or even the side guy, they don't get blind by this left side flash. So the conclusion I came to is, especially if you want to flash for yourself, the best flash you can do is just bouncing it off of this, because it will land here, it will take this guy, it will take this guy, it won't take this guy, obviously, but if you land it correct, this guy, if he's all the way up to the wall, he won't get blind, but this guy will get blind, which is, you know, an added benefit. And also this guy, if he's sitting like this, if the flash bounces and lands here, he will also actually be annoyed by it. So it is possible, say you peek Ellie, you get a kill, whatever, it's good to just do a running flash for yourself like this and just go out and focus right side, because it takes the side player, it might take this guy, it definitely takes the guy who's holding tight angle, it takes this guy, or even this guy, or even the guy in hell. Like, it's a much better flash than flashing left side. And I think that's actually the most important thing you need to know about going Ellie as solo, basically. So for T, is there anything else? I guess just if you have sandwich smoke from one of your teammates and you get flashes over mid, jumping out and getting to this position is really overpowered, because these boxes are a really nice place to play, and you can, after the smoke is fading, even sit like this and then kind of take, like, you can peek on timing when they don't expect you anymore. It's super good, it's super strong. Also, if you want to play train well, I don't know exactly the lineup, honestly, but there is a lineup for you can Molotov pop through here. It is pretty tricky, but you can Molotov pop like this, and even there is a lineup where it bounces off like that and kind of goes in. That can be very good to know. There's also a couple of wallbangs. If you go up here and you aim on the 5th window and you spam this, these bullets go down and they kill the guy who's running into pop, and you actually damage through this a lot. There's another wallbang. You go in here, you aim on the bottom right of this, you go over and you get stuck in between here. If you shoot here, these bullets go over. I guess I messed it up a little bit. Maybe it's like a little bit more like this. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Maybe it's here even. I don't think so. I think it's too high. Yeah, it is. So I guess you want to be aiming ideally like here, something like this. Then move over and you shoot. And what it does is it hits the orb who is peeking here. And will actually deal, again, a ton of damage. There was one more wallbang. If you go up here and you aim, I think it's here. This goes over and it actually kills the guy who's holding off angle on pop. Kind of interesting wallbang lineups. Is it really that useful? I'm not quite sure, but now you know that they exist. For taking pop, one of the best things to know is you can do double click Molotov right around the lamp. Like, well, I guess you aim where these two meet, and as you're running, you can do a Molotov lineup that lands here, so the lower guy can't push. And what you can then also do is you can bounce a nade like this. So if the guy tries to push, he's just gonna straight up die, most likely. And what I actually think is pretty overpowered, I'm kind of giving away one of my secrets here, but try this. Let me know how it went for you. I'm pretty sure this is gonna go very well for you, but it's kind of an old idea. You can go and Molotov this and wait with nading till you're like here, and then use the nade to run across and kind of cross the lower angle. That way you can go over here. I don't think we've talked about it that much, but if I drop down now, I make sound. But if I crouch, and as I crouch off the ledge, I stand up, I don't make sound. There are a few areas in CS2 where the height is big enough that if you just don't crouch, you will make sound. But if you crouch, uncrouch in the air, you don't make sound. So the idea of this is anyone who's played Train, a lot of B players will jiggle like this. And if you time your nade, like how I did it, so first you do the Molotov, and then you wait a little bit with the nade, and then you nade now, and then on the nade explosion, you cross the angle of the lower player. You can go here, and you can crouch, uncrouch, and you can actually go and kill the B player in the back. And then, I mean, potentially if you had someone else Molotov for you, you can just Molotov, or you can just smoke and con, you can jump here, you can hold this. Sorry, excuse me. This is kind of one of my secrets, but it works so damn well. It's an amazing solo queue move, because you can do all the nades yourself, and you can win the whole round by doing this. And no one's expecting it, because I didn't take it from a pro team. I kind of remembered this idea from CSGO, or maybe I think I remember it from CSGO, otherwise I just invented it basically, but try it out. I promise you it works way better than you think. So yeah, I will recommend that. An alternative
NATO.
Yeah?
Actually, go on. This is a little off topic.
Okay, alright. Yeah, I'll finish it real quick. So also you can Molotov here and obviously do the same nade. And then you can run in and you can peek pop pretty fast. I think the timing is you meet them when you're here. So just be ready for that. And yeah, other than this, I don't know if there really is all that much you can do as T-side solo queue. So I think I'll show you this smoke, guys. This will be the last thing I show on T-side. Also, since we're running low on time. But if you get stuck in front of this, maybe I've even shown it before. You aim here and you slow walk until you hit the white part. This is a con smoke that lands perfectly. It will land so the smoke stops here. So they have to be out of the smoke, but they can't run behind it to go out. Like they can't go here where you don't see them. So that's really cool. What did you want to say, Fair?
Did you see the cache rework? Or like CS2 remake yet? Have you seen more images of it?
Yes, I have seen some images, and I think
It's like almost done.
Yeah, and they updated the file size, like the maximum file size, from 2 GB or some. No, it can't be gigabyte, can it?
Yeah, it's gigabyte.
Oh, really? Wow, that's crazy that they take up so little space. But yeah, from 2 to 3, and that's people were expecting, because I think FM Pone, the creator of Cache, he was tweeting about it as if like that was a good change. So some people believe that it's because Cache is coming back and that, you know, it's such a big map, or like so much detail. Yeah, I'm really excited.
You think after all the bug tweaks, they're just gonna throw into the pro pool to see what happens, kind of like how they did with Train?
I hope so, and I hope
I hope they replace Anubis.
Oh, I love Anubis. I hope not.
Yeah, that's a crazy opinion.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it in pugs that much. I could see in like team play it being very good, but I don't like it in pugs.
I love it in pugs. It's crazy.
If you don't start B-side, then just like really rough to build momentum.
Yeah, but you can do a lot of stuff as CT actually. Maybe you should have been here for the solo queue move Anubis session. I think I would like. I have such a good understanding of Anubis. I think it's the map I understand best
Catch
compared
risky
to the
timings all the time, and it's so easy.
Like catch what?
If you like, you can push for like semi-risky timings when you're on CT.
Yeah.
Where
True.
you'll just find areas completely open.
Yeah.
And then
true.
you can ruin their entire take. It's so easy. Like you can do it every other round.
Yeah, it's true. Also, now that we talked about cash and stuff like that, I think still Valve paid $1 million, right, for the rights to the Tuscan, and we still haven't gotten it in the pool, which is crazy because this was like 2 years ago. I'm hoping that maybe they put Cash and Tuscan in at the same time. That would be pretty crazy. Then I'm definitely hyped. But yeah.
I never played Tuscan.
No?
even then go. I'm a very new player. Like I started like the final 3 months of CS:GO.
But I think even Tuscan wasn't played competitively in Go at all. Maybe it was like in the first couple months, but basically the guy who owned the rights to it, he didn't really update it, but didn't want Valve to create it either, so they had to pay him for the rights, I believe. It's kind of strange, but I think they wouldn't spend that
I
much
only
money on
remember
it for no reason.
I remember Tuscan, like playing Tuscan on counter blocks.
Oh, really?
They have that map all the time.
What the fuck?
That's sick. Guys, I
Until
will.
they finish the case for it.
What, sorry?
They're just waiting until they finish the case for it, and then
Yeah.
it'll come out, I'm sure.
Maybe that could be. Yeah, I kind of hope. I think Tuscan though. I'm not sure if it's gonna be good for CS2. It seems a little too small, but we'll see. Maybe they change some things. I'll go through the CT moves real quick, guys. Then we can like yap a little bit, or like go to questions and stuff like that. But just I started a little bit late, and I need to get up early tomorrow, so I want to make sure I get it done. So for Ellie, I don't think there's that much you can do solo queue. I did see that it's possible for you to sit in a way where I think like this, the T's actually can't see you here. Maybe you even have to stand up. But if you stand like this and you make sure your legs have the right orientation, the T's actually can't see you here. And so they have to actually go and clear it. And they will basically never clear you because of, you know, them not expecting it. So you can probably test it on server and see what works for you to be invisible. But it's a pretty cool move. I think also if you can just ask a teammate to just throw a flash like this, you can run out and catch people at the start of rounds a lot of the time. So that's pretty cool. I think for mid, I'll just show you some of the util. But this is basically how you would molo. Maybe even a little more to the left so it goes more in. But I think as CT, what I sometimes do when I have low money as a solo queue move is I will do the... Okay, actually I don't even think I do the Molotov. I think I just nade. And then with 5-7, I run almost in a straight line. Like, actually, let me do it proper. So I nade, I dodge the flash a little bit, I run in, and I just rush off of this nade and just run into teammate. A lot of people don't expect this to happen because it seems kind of crazy, but I can tell you it works. Another opportunity you have is obviously to run into pop early and like come to this kind of position. It's a very good move as well, but it's not something that's that I don't know what I can say. It's not so crazy like I think most people understand you can run, right? I will show you one thing that I think a lot of people don't know. It's something I've been tinkering with a little bit, but potentially if you have this lower player jiggling, I think it's possible for you to find an angle with AWP where you hold like this basically, where the idea is you are hidden enough that if the T's come here, they're gonna peek lower, they're gonna peek upper, and then at some point they're going to turn, like at some point they're turning to clear this, and that's the angle you have here. So they don't see you, and you can almost just see one pixel with AWP, but it's enough, and you always kill them in the back. And they can't go this lane because you have the lower player jiggling. I think that's kind of cool idea. It's not really a solo queue move, but if you have a B player who knows just how to walk back and forth, it could work. This is also not really a solo queue move, I guess, but I've seen this. Is it like this? Have you guys seen this smoke? Am I doing it right? Oh, I wasn't. I hope I can land it for you guys. Maybe it's more like this. No. Oh man, I'm actually sad. I must be so damn close. But basically there's a lineup. I mean, I feel like it's right around here. Where it goes through and then it lands and goes in like this. And then it lands up here. And the idea of this is that if the T's want to do exactly this like counter Molotov, the smoke turns off the Molotov, and also it blocks everything off, so you can like, you know, come here with rifle, you could potentially, you know, jump up and peek this, but also you just block all this space. And it's not really a solo queue move. I mean, you can do this smoke by yourself, but what it is more so is it's something you could maybe throw for a teammate who then pushes through and goes up here. Or if you know someone who knows the smoke, you could ask them to do this. You could play aggressive. Yeah, man, I could talk about these maps for so much longer, but I think since it's specifically solo queue moves, it's quite difficult to find something. I think the last thing I will mention before we go into questions is just if you're here and you do like you get someone to do this smoke, which at a higher level is probably a lot of people who know this smoke. It goes in and blocks like T main. If you as CT can get to this position, this one is extremely good. Because the Ts, when they get out here, they have to either, you know, go this way, where you will sort of kill them inside, or they will have to go this side, and then if they do, I mean, they don't go and like hard clear you. They typically, you know, they're moving out, they're peeking this, and they jump, and then that's when you see them. So sitting here, late round, super, super good. And it is, let's call it a solo queue move, because, yeah, you can get to this position by yourself, as long as you have someone smoking, or maybe you can even smoke it for yourself and end up there. It's really cool. Yeah. And also, let me see. Is it? No, I don't remember. Or do I? Is it like this? No, I don't think I remember. There is a lineup for a Molotov you can throw through this that lands on top of the box inside there, but I don't remember exactly. Okay, any questions, guys?
Nice knife.
What did you say?
I said nice knife.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
I have $300 for that knife. What do you think, Mr. NATO?
Yeah, that seems pretty good.
I got
me.
301.
Okay.
300 real American dollars instead of that Monopoly money euros.
I mean, that's worth more, right? 300 euros is worth more than dollars, I
I'm
believe.
sure you didn't tell him that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, it's been a bit of a heavy session as well. I've been talking basically non-stop, trying to show you guys stuff.
This is a lot.
Yeah,
This is a lot.
It is, and I think it's also it's not so theoretical. It's more me showing stuff, so I understand you guys don't really have many questions about it. So I think if no one has like a question, I think let's just close the session here. We're also already at almost 1 hour 10 minutes, which is like towards the longer sessions.
This
So
is definitely one to watch back.
yeah, and I think definitely also like I think the other one was even better with the solo queue moves on on Anubis, Inferno, and Mirage. Like there's a lot of stuff to do. I think on Train as well, like especially this B move. Please promise me, guys, try it. Try doing this Molotov, waiting a little bit, bouncing the nade on this, on a timing that you cross, and then start slow walking early. It's going to work for you. I promise you. It's so good. And you just win the round if it works.
That's if I'm ever able to play Train on Faceit, because they just make sure it's the first ban map.
Yeah, I know. Not many people want to play it, but
it's always Chicago Mirage. I hate it here.
I'm always the captain forcing everybody to play it.